This video is brought to you by HalloCasa. Our tool transforms independent local real estate agents to global real estate agents. Create your own profile for free and get contacted by international investors. Sign up with the link in the description. Hello and welcome everyone to our 205th session of HalloCasa. My name is Michael and today I'm talking to Christopher Panteli. Chris is the co-founder of Linkifi, a company widely recognized as the global leader in delivering high-impact Tier-1 media coverage through digital PR, with client placements in powerhouses like Forbes, The Guardian, JQ, HuffPost, and beyond. He's also behind Total Authority, a forward-looking venture helping brands get discovered in LLM-powered search, a game changer in the area and especially very relevant in today's real estate market. Chris, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being on the show. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience in your own words?
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Michael. So I've been in digital marketing now for just over half a decade. Finished university with a degree in business economics and then took over the family fish and chip shop. So I'm from a food background, did that for about 12 years. Then I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes just before the pandemic. And it was a very physical job, long hours. And that's when I discovered the online world, started a website, started making money quite quickly, and then started building links to that website. I found out I was pretty good at that and that other people were interested in that as a service. And that's how Linkifi was born. And we quickly found within, I'd say about 6 months, that real estate clients were some of the best clients to work with, both in terms of us and what we could deliver for them, and in terms of the impact it would have on them and their businesses.
What was the product you were selling in order to make money so fast?
Links. So HARO links, HARO is a platform called Help a Reporter Out. It's over 15 years old now. And it's a free way to connect journalists with experts. So it was like a democratized way for real people, real business owners to get like high authority media coverage for their business, their brand. And I was just quite good at answering those requests, understanding what the journalists wanted. So we were able to offer that as a done-for-you service, where we would write those quotes, ghostwrite them as our clients, and be able to filter as well from the requests that we would answer. So really only tier 1, super high coverage that would actually move the needle for the clients.
Okay, so you understood the way HARO was working and you had fun doing it, and then you reached out to the respective people in the directory and saying like, listen, I can do it for you, so that you have like a higher conversion rate and you really get the client, sort of.
Yeah. I mean, it's a super time intensive, laborious process. Busy real estate agent, brokers, home service business owners, anybody really that's looking or that's got budget they want to earn this media coverage, but they haven't got the time necessarily to do it themselves. Anybody can do this, and if they set aside some time per week, then they can definitely earn themselves this coverage. But at some point, it gets to a point where your time is more valuable and you have the budget. So it's something that if you can outsource and get the results that way, then people are definitely interested.
I remember myself using HARO actually, like also like 10 years ago, for my own services. I honestly hardly remember how that works, but now you basically like you help me out again, and it's interesting that it still exists. That's a good sign, though.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been through some ups and downs. It got bought out by private money, Sicyon, a company. They sort of ran it into the ground a bit. Then the original founder of HARO, Peter Shankman, he launched a new service called SOS, which is very much the same source of sources. So you can sign up to both of those for free now. HARO then got bought back from the dead, as it were. It was resurrected. But I think it's emblematic of the current state of journalism, where so much content can be produced by AI now that what really separates like a true editorially produced piece of content is it's been well researched, well written, and it's backed up by quotes from real experts. So that's why journalists are really, really leveraging this more than ever before.
That's interesting. Tell us about Linkify.
So we are a done for you service. We're an agency that will provide this service for you. We don't just do HARO. There are many places to find these opportunities. So we've got all custom built systems where we pull all these in. We also track all major journalists across all verticals. Journalists will often post these requests directly on social media. They're most active on X, Blue Sky, Threads. Let's say a journalist for realtor.com is looking for an expert for an article they're working on how to increase the resale value of a property, let's say. They'll post that maybe on HARO, SOS, Press Plugs. They'll post it on their personal social. We pull all those requests in, and then we're able to determine if it's a valid opportunity, if it's a good site. We all know realtor.com is a massive site, good opportunity, and then we can put that into our system and write those responses for the suitable clients and hope that the journalist includes those quotes within their article and then links back to the company.
What's the status right now of backlinks? Is it still a thing? Is it, I remember there's like white hat SEO, black hat SEO. You need to make sure that you get a lot of backlinks from high authority websites, which have a lot of links themselves. How is the status right now in 2025?
Yeah, it's a really interesting time. So, Google search still dominates, even though we're seeing an unprecedented rise in AI search. Google still accounts for the majority of the search market, and Google's algorithm still very much works on the basis of backlinks. That's how when its algorithm wants to decide which 10 blue links to put on page one, if you're searching for I don't know, 4-bedroom properties with swimming pools in Austin, Texas. If they're going to make a decision, then the sites that they're going to put on page one via its algorithm is largely going to be based on links. That's why you'll see the Zillows, but you can also see independent brokerages that have got a good website, good SEO, and they've got a strong authority from these links. But what we're also seeing is people are changing the way that they search. So they're not just going into Google. They are having conversational searches with large language models, Perplexity, ChatGPT. And largely these models are surfacing results, businesses, brands, again, based on not necessarily links, but how visible and strong the brand is. So one might call that a brand mention, which is essentially the same as a link. Has your business HalloCasa, have you been in the BBC? Have you been mentioned in The Guardian, in New York Times? The more that the large language models can see that trust from that entity recognition of you being featured in these trusted sources, the more chances that you have of that large language model surfacing you and your business as a recommended source.
A couple of weeks ago, I had Brett Griner on the show, and he is a CEO of a brokerage of a platform basically allowing luxury investors to also rent out their short term or their listings for short term. And he said he actually started rebuilding the entire website, and he learned everything with ChatGPT, and he learned that the LLM searches, they work in a way that you basically have to answer a lot of questions in a conversational way, as in FAQs, because then those LLMs understand that the real final answer is being found on that website. Do you know about those technicalities as well, or is it for you mainly like link building? I'm just curious there.
No, we do a lot of deep dive audits on client sites, so it's much more than just link building. Link building is a part of it, and again, for the LLMs, it's that brand mention. But large language models, they do like structured data, organized data, schema. So if you can put stuff into FAQs, structured schema data, where the large language models can easily interpret and understand that information, and then resurface it in the way that they see fit, then that is a great way to do that. But that's also benefiting your SEO as well, because Google also likes structured data. It likes schema. Not just for Google now. We want to optimize for everywhere. So I think the old school best practices largely still count. But really, it's all about building. What it really boils down to is building authority and building brand. This is what, long gone are the days where you could just be a brand new brokerage firm with a one-page website and you've never been mentioned anywhere else on the internet, and you're going to start being visible in Google or large language models. Like, you need to be a recognizable brand. Podcasts, speaking engagements, you need to be getting mentioned in tier 1 media. You need to be doing everything.
So it's not only here's a tool, click through it, and you get like the best schema, and you put the robot text file into your WordPress, and you're gonna appear everywhere. It's not gonna work like that anymore.
No, I mean, that's just the fundamental foundational things which you need to do. Yeah, you need to then. You need a good website, you need content, you need recency. Large language models love recency. Like, they will be pulling from, if you're a brokerage firm in Austin, Texas, and you've got a website and you're publishing like content on a weekly basis about things that are affecting the local area, new laws that have come into place, like the large language models will see that. If you haven't produced anything for 3 years, then you've got much less chance of it pulling. So you've got to be doing the basics and then doing everything else on top of that.
Is there a certain basic technical setup for LLMs where you say this is actually something which everyone should do? Once I was in a meetup and they were saying, please paste this snippet or paste this HTML code into your website so that it's basically indexed. Is there something like that?
People are trying to flout this like LLM version of the robots.txt, but large language models are saying that they're not using that. The basics, things that you need to have in place for the large language models, you need to have you should have organizational schema. You should try and have a Google business profile. You should have a knowledge panel if you can get that on Google. This is all structured data which the large language models can see and understand. You should have boilerplate information about your company. So you should be saying the same thing everywhere. Like Linkify, we are a digital PR link building agency. That's like a boilerplate sort of line. You don't want to give mixed signals. So we don't want to say one thing one place and something else somewhere else. We want name, address, phone number. So NAP should be everywhere. We should be listing our business in directories, local directories, national directories, industry directories. So these are the fundamental things that we should do. And if we don't do, then we will be beat out by competitors that are doing that.
For a real estate brokerage or real estate agent, you can choose. What are suggestions you would give them if they want to rank highly on Google or on any LLM?
Yeah, this is a great question. So first and foremost, they should view themselves as an association of the business and part of the brand. They should have they should optimize the website and the about page. So who they are, and that should be really, really easily identifiable from both an algorithmic perspective and like a human hitting the site. So if they hit the brokerage firm site, they want to be able to see easily like an about link somewhere. It shouldn't be buried 12 links deep from the footer. You should just be able to land on the website. Right, this is a brokerage firm. Click about, and then we can see who's the owner, who they are, what are their qualifications, experiences, accolades, real estate license numbers, where they're legally allowed to operate. Like as much information as you can put that clearly identifies them as the business owner and the expert, which they clearly are. You should then also have this information multi-platform. So they should have a LinkedIn profile and other social profiles as well, where all of that information is the same across those
Replicated.
Replicate that information, multi-platform. That's probably one of the things that we see with clients that come to us, real estate brokerage owners. They'll say, look, I want to do some link building. I want to build some authority to myself. We'll have a look at the website, and you can't even tell from the website who the owner of the firm is. So it's quick wins. It's easy to do. and it will make an impact.
Posting, you mentioned HARO in the beginning. What are there the best practices? Quantity, authority, making sure that I'm being ranked. How should I start? Should I try to reverse engineer it from like certain keywords where I definitely want to hit on, let's say best brokerage firm in Los Angeles, whatsoever? Do I go long form keywords? What's there basically like the best practice at the moment?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, I'd sign up for HARO or SOS. Those are both free, quoted as well, spelt with a Quoted. You get 5 free pitches a month on there, I think. Best practices, do what I said, optimize your about page, LinkedIn profile. Make sure that your LinkedIn profile clearly reflects the brokerage firm that you work for. I'll see like brokerage owners, they'll own like I don't know, $500 million a year brokerage firm. You click on their LinkedIn and you can't even tell that that's the firm that they own. Like it should be there, like that's their business. In the experience, they're the owner, founder, whatever. So all of that needs to be in place because the journalists, they will check that. Once you're signed up, you want to be pitching queries for publications that you've heard of. Realtor, Real Home, House Beautiful, Homes and Gardens, all of the sort of niche relevant industry and tier 1 publications. And then you want to be pitching quite broad within your specific niche. So real estate agents, then there's not going to be specific queries on their keywords, let's say. So, houses in Austin if they're an Austin-based realtor. Journalists are sourcing for experts on much broader queries. So that they might be looking for a real estate agent or a realtor to help them with their article by giving some comments on things to do with like mortgages or how you can enhance the curb appeal of a property. So there could even be things to do with like home staging, interior design. Like there's loads of things, topics that are relevant, but much broader than that tightly defined industry and location that realtor is operating in. But that's fine, because if you can answer those queries legitimately and well, you have a good chance that the journalist will include your commentary, and then you'll get quoted and linked to from housebeautiful.com or realtor.com, NASDAQ. But just make sure that you are including that introduction when you answer the journalist query, who you are. You're a qualified licensed real estate agent or brokerage. Include a link to your website, include a link to your social media profile, your LinkedIn, for that social proof, because the journalist wants to quickly check and quickly verify that you are who you say you are. Write a good response, use like linguistic flurry, your own tone of voice, answer exactly what they've asked for. So if they say, I'm looking for someone to give me 3 sentences on X, Y, and Z, don't send them 8 paragraphs, like do what they've asked. And keep going, because it's competitive. So you'll do one, you won't hear anything. You'll do another one, you won't hear anything. And then eventually you'll get your first link win. You'll see that you've been featured. Track your responses as well, because the journalists, they won't always email you and say, oh, I did include your quotes, here's the article. In fact, that's actually quite rare. So set up Google alerts for your business name and your personal name. And then, eventually you will land a link, you will get some coverage, you'll get the bug, and then hopefully you'll carry on and you'll go get some more.
We have the HalloCasa tool, and I'm wondering what you think about that. When you create your own profile, the basic profile is for free. It's not being indexed by HalloCasa or by any searches as properly as when you pay a monthly fee. And then we are mainly indexing the username, which you put. And we always say, okay, put like some certain keywords for your area, your name and real estate. And we index the services, which they select, the name, the description, like all the text, and a couple of more things. And I wasn't aware actually of that powerful product until I played around with the product, and I created my own profile, mortgage broker in Lisbon. And I got like a Calendly invite one day. And I was like, normally I do the research, like, okay, who I'm going to meet, email, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. I was like, and I asked him, like, hey, where did we meet? because I can't any see any reasons. No, no, you're a mortgage broker in Lisbon. It's like, wow, our tool seems to work. Do you think that when I talk to potential clients to use the HalloCasa tool, do you think it's worthwhile for also people who have already their website, therefore, to say, I also invest into this additional landing page because it creates still brand authority, because we have basically like an independent source which confirms the information which I have been putting on my website? Or do you say it's redundant because you already have your website?
If conversion for you is happening on your own website, so if you want people to land on your site, search for listings, and then buy property or take out a mortgage or whatnot, then yeah, you want to be sending all of that link juice, that coverage to the website. If, however, you are associated with other powerful brand names like HalloCasa, then that is worth putting within your boilerplate information, having it on your about page of your website, because it's another trust signal. So especially if let's say you're a newer brokerage firm and you haven't done much media outreach, but you've got a HalloCasa listing, people have heard of that, and therefore that's like another trust signal, both to journalists and to potential clients, people that hit the website. So yeah, definitely include that. But if you want to be enticing, the link, the quote, the attribution of what you're doing to go to mention your actual like main website.
Makes sense. Okay. What other additional services do you offer if I'm a real estate agent and I would like to, like I'm curious, I would like to work with you. What else can people get from you?
We do an authority building package, which goes like above and beyond just digital PR. So we make an assessment of how authoritative you and your business is as a brand, and then we outline a blueprint which is tailor-made to each individual prospective client, and that's how we build with not just digital PR, but traditional PR, podcast management, speaking engagements, authoritative thought leadership content, social media content, everything that can be done in order to enhance visibility in Google and large language models, which I think is the future of search.
People running most of their inbound leads only for Google and maybe even AdWords, they will have to really make sure that they're not being outcompeted. I know a couple of friends, I know other people from business connections, and I have been hearing like a little bit between the lines, like I know my conversion rate, I know my costs per lead, but I'm also scared because I see there's a certain, movement happening. We also see Gemini gives me directly the responses now, like Google is pushing this one. How do you think people should act in order to weather a little bit the storm and make sure that I'm staying on top? Do you think there's certain other best practices in order to make sure that it's not only, as you said, it might be maybe podcast appearances or some other channels, so not only SEO, because this is still giving a lot of power to the search. It is maybe even personal branding, as you said. What is there maybe like a good practice for both an individual, but also maybe a brokerage who is in the real estate sector?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. And, if majority of your inbound leads is from PPC and you're seeing those costs go up, let's say you're thinking like you want to diversify where those leads are coming from. I mean, again, it is early, like Google paid ads, like we're not in a point now where everybody is using like large language models to search. It's still maybe 1% of the search market. However, it is growing at a rate the likes of which we've never seen. I mean, I think it took Google 15 years to get to the monthly average users that it took OpenAI like 2 years to get to. So like that rate of growth is unprecedented. So you should start thinking about it now. I imagine like brokerage firms owners, they get, well, I know for a fact, I speak to a lot, like they do get stuck in that, I spend X amount on leads, it delivers me this, they know what they know. Anything else is more of a long-term investment. At least with leads, you pay for leads, the leads come like bada boom, bada bing. That's easy. But if you're going to invest in things like SEO or large language model optimization, it's not going to happen overnight. You might allocate some budget to that, and it's going to take 6 to 12 months, let's say, to start seeing an impact. But I suppose my closing piece of advice on that whole subject would be, the way that we're going is brand. So if you are an independent brokerage firm owner, build personal brand. If you own a large brokerage firm and you've got like superstar brokers within that, then have some of your top stars start building a personal brand associated with that firm, because brand. It's no matter what we do, the brands are going to be what survives in whatever this future looks like. Brands that have, fans and a strong presence are going to be the ones that survive. So I just think it would be a good investment in however you think about the future. It's definitely worth the investment.
I totally agree for many reasons, but I'm not going to go there right now, but I totally agree with you. Is there anything else you would like to mention to the audience which we haven't touched upon?
No, I mean, I've got a cheat sheet. If they want, they can go to linkifi.io/cheat-sheet. It's like a one-pager, which if you want to go out and start getting yourself featured in the press, like I talk about this a lot on other podcasts. We've got free resources and stuff. You can 100% do this yourself. And I would recommend people to do that because, it's not just, I've been quoted in realtor.com. You've then got something to share with your audience. You can repurpose that. You can post it across social. Like there's so much you can do with media coverage, and you can go and earn that yourself for free. And you can use the cheat sheet to help you get started. And real estate agents as well. People operating in the realtor space are very uniquely positioned. That in terms of digital PR and the news cycles, one, it's an extremely PR friendly topic. Journalists are always writing about houses. We all have to live in a house. Therefore, it is an extremely PR friendly subject. And real estate agents are 100% qualified professionals to speak on those subjects. It's much harder for an email SaaS deliverability tool founder to get press coverage than it is for a real estate agent and broker. So go out there and do it.
Perfect. Chris, how can people reach out to you?
I'm active on LinkedIn, Chris Panteli, and X as well, at Linkifi_. Or they can just go to the website, linkifi.io. If they want to book a call with me, happy to chat. It'd be great.
Perfect. Chris, thank you so much for your time today. And sending the best regards to Birmingham.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Cheers.
Take care.
This video is brought to you by HalloCasa. Our tool transforms independent local real estate agents to global real estate agents. Create your own profile for free and get contacted by international investors. Sign up with the link in the description.